Welcome to week 3 of A341. This is the help sheet for 4.1, creating a database. So these are the tables that you will need to create for your table. You have for your database, you have 4 tables: inventory, sales inventory, and customer. Okay. Notice that I've given you what we call the schema. So we have the table name, primary key, foreign keys, and other attributes. If you're not familiar with primary key and foreign key, the primary key is the attribute that describes what's in the table. So for inventory, it's usually inventory ID number or inventory SQA number. Sales, in our case, will be invoice number. Here we have a multiple table with 2 primary keys, part number and invoice number. This is when you have a many-to-many relationship. And then customer table, the primary key is the customer number. Okay, the one thing about the primary keys is that they're unique. So every customer should have a unique key. Every inventory item should have a unique key. Every sale that we make should have a unique invoice. Okay, every customer should have a unique customer number. Every inventory item should have a unique part number. All right, so that's very important, that primary key, because that describes what's in the table. That's what we use to communicate with other tables. A foreign key would be a primary key from another table in your table. So in our sales table, we do have a foreign key customer number, which is a primary key for the customer table. That's happens when we have a one-to-many or one-to-one relationship. When we have a many-to-many relationship, then we have the part number and invoice number. So tables needed in Access, so we're going to create these tables in Access, are these tables here: inventory, sales inventory, and customer. All right, so then I just talked about primary key and foreign keys. The other keys, for instance, customer name, will be neither a primary key or a foreign key. So customer name or customer address for the customer, or for sales invoice, the date. These would be keys that are not unique and really don't describe anything except for what's in that one attribute. All right, so start Access. So open up a File, New, and click Blank Database, and then open your file. So each of the fields, we're going to do inventory first, starting with the primary key item number, so you'll put that in first. All right, so first thing you'll need to do is make sure you're in design view, so your Access database should look like this, and there's a word view with an arrow. Click that and click design view. All right, and design view will look like this. So the first key we're going to enter is part number, and that's our primary key. All right, so I've got part number here, use short text, and then if you want to describe it, you don't have to. Unique number for this part. All right, then down below, you're going to click this general here, and then you'll enter this information. Field size 3, caption, validation rule, validation text. So make sure, though, that you click general down below here, and then you'll be able to enter this information. Then enter your other attributes such as part cost, item description, quantity in hand, and standard price. All right, at this point, the problem is going to ask you to enter data. So you're going to enter this data here, and then you're going to go back to your view and switch over from design view to data sheet view. This will give you then, there'll be fields here where you can enter this data. So you're not going to be able to enter this data until you're in data sheet view. So make sure you're in data sheet view before you enter that data. Next, we have the sales table. So we're going to do the same thing. Okay, we're going to go back to, and I'll show you here, go back to design view. Instead of, you put your primary key in first, which would be for our sales data, would be invoice number, will be our primary key. Set the data type to text, and this should have a primary key icon as well as your inventory key. So in design view, there should be over here, if you see this little key here where my arrow is, that tells me that's my primary key. So, and it's going to do that automatically. So the default on Access is that the primary key, when you put that in first, that believes that's your primary key, so always put the primary key in first. And that primary key then should be showing up here to the left of the field name. All right, then enter these other attributes for sales. For your sales table. All right. So invoice numbers first, and set that as your primary key. Short text, and then down below hit general again, like you did before. Right, you hit this general down here. Hit that again. So hit general, and you'll be able then to enter this information related to the field size, caption, validation rule, etc. Then underneath that primary key, then have customer number as your next key. So right under invoice number, print customer number, field size 3, so forth. Date of sales, the next field. Hit general, have use the access default once you hit general. Should be short date, and caption would be date of sales. So when you hit general, put format, caption, and everything else just use the defaults and access for date of sale. All right, and then go to data sheet view and enter the following. So again, hit on your field, right, hit view, and then hit data sheet view as you go from design view to data sheet view. All right, sales inventory is the next. This is a many-to-many relationship between sales and inventory. So we're going to have two primary keys. All right, so you'll have to click primary key for the second line, second row, so that Access knows that you have two primary, or you have really, probably incorrect to say with two primary keys, that we have a composite primary key. All right, so enter item number. Data type can be set to text, and then the properties will hit that general 3 item number, like 3 hashtags, validation text. So enter all this information. Okay, here, by the way, we can say duplicates are okay because of a composite primary key. So the first part of the primary key might be 1. We might have several 1s. Or the second part might be 3. There might be several number 3s. So duplicates are okay. Now, if you just have one primary key, we cannot have duplicates. So duplicates are prohibited. If you have just one primary key, but you have a composite primary key, duplicates are okay on each individual key. For the composite key, though, they're going to all be different. And then do invoice number directly underneath field name. Actually, directly underneath field name. Data type is set to text. And then field size is 3, invoice. So hit general again and enter this information related to field size, caption, validation rule, etc. Now set up your composite primary key. So use your mouse and click those 2 rows, item number and invoice number, and then hit the primary key on access up to on the top left corner. And then you should have primary key in both rows. All right, then once you get that set up, then you can go ahead, hit general, and hit this information related to field size, caption, validation rule, validation text. And then you put actual price as your next field. And then here's the information related to that general stuff. Caption is actual price. Let's use the access defaults. Field size 7. Caption was actual price, and then use all your other defaults. Then enter this row of data using datasheet view. So go back to datasheet view like I showed you earlier, and then you can enter that information in those cells. All right. And so here's the data you enter into the cells. And then we have the customer table. So go ahead and create a new table. Make sure you're in your design view. The first field will be customer number. It's going to be your primary key. It's going to set that as a default. And then hit general. Here's the information that you'll put down below. And then enter these other fields. Underneath customer number, we have customer name, shipping address underneath customer name, billing address underneath shipping address, and so forth. And then enter the information for whether it's short text and then information down below after in general as far as field size and captions. All right, then here's 2 more rows to enter into the customer table. Save your table, then send everything to Blackboard. So this week we have 4 deliverables: problem 4.1, problem 4.4, My Educator 11, and My Educator 12. All right, you guys have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon. And I'll see you in the discussion board. So make sure, by the way, that you're active in our discussion boards as well.